Hey, in this video we are going to look at an example of dictionaries in Python. So we've got a problem statement here. We are creating a fantasy video game and we'll use a dictionary to keep the player's inventory. For example, the inventory could be rope 1, torch 6, gold chain, gold coin 42, dagger 1. Right? So you see how the dictionary could be an inventory. The items and the length of the dictionary could change, but the keys will always be a string and the values an int. So we'll have, again, that pair will be string followed by an int. Then we're going to write a function that will display the inventory like the following. Inventory colon 1 rope, 6 torch, 42 gold coin, 1 dagger, total number of items 50. And then we're going to have the main program call the function with this inventory and then separately another inventory. So two function calls. Okay, here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a new file, and I'm calling this file example underscore sections 04-2.py, and it is on my desktop, so that file is there, and that's the file that I'm going to submit, if I'm submitting this for some credit, for some work. Alright, so I got that file ready to go, and then when I get to coding, I want to put my function at the top. So I'm going to write the keyword def, and I'm going to call this function, let's say, display inventory, like this, with a capital I, camel case notation there, and display inventory, and then this thing is going to take in the inventory, right? It needs that as an input, colon, and then indent on the next line. Alright, so now I need to print the word inventory colon. So I'll print inventory colon like that. And in this, I'm going to make a loop that loops through each tuple of the dictionary, each pair in the dictionary. And I have to loop through because the length of the dictionary can change each time. So I don't know like how many print statements I'm going to need, so I'm going to need to loop. And in this loop, I'm going to keep track of the number of items. So I'm going to initialize the number of items. I'm going to call that total equals 0. I'm going to initialize that to 0. And then I'm going to start my loop. And I'm going to say for, and I need the keys, right, which is like rope, torch, gold coin, and the values. So I need like 1, 6, 42. So I'm going to write for key and number or whatever, the amount. I'll call it amount. That's a better word. So I'm unpacking key amount um, in inventory dot items, right? So the items give you everything in the dictionary, the keys and the values, and then the pair as a tuple, and I'm unpacking the pair as key and amount. All right, so now what do I want to do with key and amount? Well, I want to, according to the example up here, I want to print the amount first, and the amount is going to be numerical. It's an int. So I'm going to convert that to a string. Let's do that first. A string amount, right? And then I'm going to concatenate that with a space. If you look at the original, the example, it's got the number, then it's got a space. So I'm going to concatenate that with a space. And then I'm going to add to it the key. The key is already a string, we're told in the problem, like rope, torch, gold coin. So I can just keep it as a string there. I don't need to convert it. Alright, so it's going to print that, and it's going to loop through all of that and print. And also, I'm going to update total. I'm going to say total plus equals, and then I'm going to add to that the amount. So that will be a running total there. And let's see, that could be the end of my loop, I think. Do I need anything else there? I don't think so. Now, outside of the loop, then, I'm going to work on this last line. This would be print total number of items, colon, space, and then I'm going to add to that total. But total is a numerical value, so I'm going to concatenate that with a string, or I'm going to convert it to a string, total. All right, so that should be good. And my function does not need to return anything. It just needs to print it, display everything. So I don't need any return statements. I think I'm good to go there. Now in the main program, so now indented outside of this program, or outside of the function, so I'm not indented at all there. Now I need to call this thing with a couple inventories. So let's give it the inventory. I'm just going to copy and paste from the directions. let's give it. All right. So there's our first inventory. We have 1 rope, 6 torches, 42 gold coins, and 1 dagger. And so with that inventory, I'm going to call display inventory, and I'm going to send it my inventory to display, right? And then I'm going to need to call my function again. So just kind of separate things in the console. I'm going to print maybe 20 dashes. So this would take 2 dashes and then replicate that by 10. And then I'm gonna say inventory equals, and then I'll just copy and paste, excuse me, from the directions. And I'll give myself some space here. So in this new inventory, we've got 18 arrows, 2 shields, 18 gold coins, 3 daggers, 3 apples, and 9 Triforce pieces. And then we're going to display inventory, and then we're going to send it the inventory, and then why not? We'll print those dashed lines. We'll replicate it like that, and I think that's good to go. So I'll Control S, save it, and then we'll run it, see what happens. And there you have it. So the first function call, it prints inventory colon, and then it lists each piece of my inventory, and then it's got the total number of items, which is 50, which is 1 plus 42 plus 6 plus 1. And then the next function call, I've got a different inventory, and it prints them all as asked for, and then it counts them and prints 53, which is 9 plus 3 plus 3 plus 18 plus 2 plus 18. Now, if I was going to submit this to whoever, then I want to make sure that I comment it. So I put my name, author name, fill that in, last updated, right? Fill that in with the date, and then I want to make sure that I have nice variable names. So I've called inventory, that's descriptive. Total is total, right? That's descriptive. By nice, I mean descriptive. Amount, right? Key. My function is called display inventory, so that's descriptive. I've used white space, right, to separate blocks. Like you see, after my function, I've got white space. Before I accumulate the total, right, I've got white space there because that's kind of separate. So you see, I've kind of blocked off my code nicely. I'll just comment on this loop. I'll say iterate through dictionary items, right? And maybe this variable needs some explanation. Maybe I'll say keep track of total items, or whatever. And then we might call this block here outside of the function. We might say function call 1, right? And then this block, we might say that this is function call 2, like that. All right, so I've got I know my function works correctly. That's good. I've got it commented. That's good. And I've used white space and descriptive names. That's good. I'm good to go. So I will Control S, and again, then on my desktop, or whatever directory that you have, you will find your py file, and that is the program file that you want to submit. All right. Thank you.